Now, my next guest has been a lifeline for us parents who were homeschooling during the pandemic. Ashley Bates' Shed School helped thousands across the country and is now being recognised by the family of a national treasure. And Ashley joins us right now. Ashley, morning.
Good morning.
I mean, we've spoken countless times, actually, but for anybody who's been hiding under a bushel and doesn't know about the Shed School, just explain how this works.
So last year, during lockdown, I decided to turn my garden shed into a virtual TV station to basically stream lessons for Key Stage 1 learners across the nation, and it picked up.
Well, I mean, you say it picked up. I should say. I mean, its reputation travelled the world, didn't it? I mean, you were reaching children in all sorts of corners of the globe.
Yeah, it was quite amazing, the amount of people that we did manage to reach, really, and to help. It was kind of children logging in from Spain and people staying up all night and watching in Australia. It was quite amazing that they were kind of joining in on these little lessons all streamed from my tiny little shed.
and now things, I mean, you know, we've heard that, you know, it's now or never restrictions and all these parameters in which we've been living. You know, things aren't going to return to normal. I'm not quite sure how that normal's going to feel. However, what's the future of the Shed School? Are you still running it? Are you still dividing your time between a proper classroom and the Shed School? What's happening now?
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm still working as a primary school teacher. My school's just come to the kind of coming to the end of our term now, and the Shed School is still going. All of the lessons are still up online, so they're still up on YouTube. Or 60 hours worth of maths and English and phonics are all still up there for people to access and people to get hold of for free. And on top of that, we thought, well, you know, what else could we do to help children at home? And now lockdown is starting to kind of open back up. We started doing children's parties. So I now do kids' parties, and you could have Mr. Bates and a shed turn up to your house for a magic show. So magic show and discussion.
I think that's absolutely amazing, and of course you've got a theme, and I mean, you know, anything with a theme and a song, I mean, you're onto a winner. So, you know, if you think back, I suppose 18 months, obviously, you know, the Shed School didn't exist, but the pandemic has brought about this positive force in your life.
Absolutely, and I think there's been so many people that have stepped up to help along the way, it's crazy thinking back. It's a year ago. We were all kind of just stuck inside, and so many people kind of came out the woodwork to support the nation, really, in so many different ways.
Yeah, and what about the reaction? Because, I mean, there's been lots of feedback of children and parents, I should imagine, right across the globe to the Shed School. You've really made a difference, but what have people been saying about the way in which the Shed School's really helped their education?
Oh, it's been lovely. The messages we've received from kind of from family and friends and people, parents across the world, of just saying thank you so much for just giving a bit of normality and a little bit of kind of sanity in what's been a crazy year.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely lovely, and it's been so nice to hear from parents, just to kind of hear, hey, look, you gave me an hour back in the mornings just to have a coffee and a sit down.
Yeah.
That was just, if I could just help a little bit like that, then that's brilliant.
Yeah, now I mentioned actually that you've come under the radar of the family of a national treasure. So what's happened? Who's been in touch?
So, yeah, earlier this year, I had an amazing letter through, kind of opened it up and thought, oh, well, this looks exciting. And it was from Captain Sir Tom Moore's daughter, saying how much she appreciated the Shed School during the time that we've had, and wanted to congratulate me on the work that we've put together. By doing so, she's created a fantastic book with Puffin, and it's called 100 Reasons to Hope. It's incredible. It's basically a children's illustrated non-fiction book celebrating the triumphs and perseverance and the positivity of the past year.
That's amazing. I mean, how does it feel for you to be recognised in that way and to be part of this?
Oh my! You can't really describe it, because when it came through, I thought, no, this surely isn't for me. It's just me in the shed. I would have been doing this. I would have been teaching anyway, and that's what felt weird. that I would have been doing this in a classroom anyway. But to have people recognise it and say thank you, and look, we'd like to commend you for the work that you've done is so humbling. And the book is going to be absolutely incredible. It contains obviously Captain Sir Tom, his amazing work, and people like Joe Wicks, and the people that raced to get the vaccine together, as well as people like Dancing Binman. It's going to feature a
Yeah.
huge amount of people that helped, and it's really lovely to be part of that.
Yeah, I mean, as much as the pandemic has been the toughest time, I think, in all our lives, for all sorts of different reasons, when you look back, actually, there's so many things to celebrate that have been brought about by the lockdowns and the pandemic, actually, and you're one of them. So, and this is a very celebratory children's book and an inspirational children's book at that.
Absolutely, yeah. Celebrating all those lovely things and that community that everybody built over the last year. I know we being one, we hadn't really spoken to our neighbours before just because we have busy lives, and suddenly we were thrown into an environment where actually we can't go out. We need to speak to our neighbours, and it built up such a lovely environment to live within.
Yeah.
And a community around us, and obviously then a virtual community as well, with all these things like Joe Wicks and everybody online doing all these amazing things to help out where possible. So this book is going to really celebrate that.
Who'd have thought actually that you would be teaching children in a different part of the world? I mean, that's only been made possible. Normally, you'd get on a plane and have to do that, and and step away from your own classroom. However, there's been so many things that are now possible. The world seems to have opened up in many ways, doesn't it? Because you can do things via Zoom, you can do things virtually, and that's exactly what you have been doing. But in terms of the book and your inclusion, how do is there a chapter dedicated to you? How does the Shed School kind of fit in to this particular book?
Oh, I can't tell you too much, but
go on.
Look, we are featured in the book amongst all these other fantastic people. So there is a section dedicated to the Shed School within there. It's been written by Daniela Brown, the MBE double Paralympian and children's author, and it's going to be. I've seen little bits of it. It is amazing, and it's all illustrated by Adam Larkham. It's such a lovely book. It's going to be out in September the 16th. So you can pre-order it now on Amazon and bookshops. But it really is just a celebration of all those people that stepped up, and so honoured to be part of that, really.
Yeah, so September 16th, okay. Well, that's great. We'll write that date down. But I just feel there's still stuff, actually, that you're holding back, because I feel that this is merely the beginning of the Shed School, and I feel that there's a lot of exciting things that are going to happen in the future of the Shed School. Is there anything that you can tell us?
Well, the Shed School wise, obviously, we're doing the kids' parties. We're also producing some new phonics lessons that are going to be going out this summer, that are just going to help parents and students just with getting those little phonics lessons in, touching up on those letters and those sounds that are so important for children, especially early years like Key Stage 1. So we're going to be doing some more of that, and we're going to be building on some more collaborations to look to kind of work with some other people, as well as the kind of the Tom Moore Foundation, to just build and just make the Shed School as big as possible. Make this tiny shed as big as we possibly can.
Who'd have thought it when you were setting it all up? Who'd have thought that it would have the reputation that it has now? What about television? Because I know I've alluded to this before, but do you have aspirations sort of that lie in that kind of medium, perhaps?
That would be amazing. I've reached out to a few people, but obviously it's difficult times and everyone's a bit unsure of what's going on. But that would be the ideal, wouldn't it? Just a little shed on your TV every afternoon, teaching you at home a little bit.
Fit perfectly. It really would.
It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, if
you know anyone, reach out.
Do you know what? If parents actually they didn't know about the Shed School till now, that's always a possibility. How do they sort of get the Shed School? How do they find it, and what do they need to do?
So all the information is on our website, www.theshedschool.co.uk. You can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, or on Instagram. Everything's up on there. All of our lessons are on YouTube, and they're all in playlists, so you guys can go through them and have a look at maths or English, or just pick up on individual lessons. Do have a little look through. There's caters for so much on there: creative writing and poetry, and you name it. We've covered it on the Shed School, so everything is up on there.
Do you
the
know,
Shed School.
there's so many things that I just absolutely love about you, Ashley, and I mean that you're a bundle of energy, which is inspiring for children. But actually, you make learning and education fun, and that's exactly what it should be like for children, because you
Shouldn't it?
learn
It should be.
without realizing that you're learning.
Absolutely, and that's what I find exciting about it, is that kind of, when those lessons that I remember when I was at school, weren't necessarily they didn't mean to be lessons, because they were just funny and silly, and you come away going, oh well, that was really good, and oh, hang on a minute, I learned something there. That's really weird.
Yeah.
And that's what I find exciting about learning, is the excitement and the creating, and everybody can do it. It doesn't matter what your ability. Everybody can come up with an idea, and that idea is yours, and that is the closest thing to magic as you can create.
Well, you're passing that on, and thank you so much, Ashley, for coming back on and making such a huge difference to children as well. And you can read all about the Shed School in 100 Reasons to Hope by Captain Sir Tom Moore's family, and it's out on the 16th of September.